Hello everyone, welcome back. So this is lesson 2 in our Transformers series. Today we're going to be taking a deeper look at Hugging Face. And so without further ado, let's get right into it. So first let's look at a pipeline. What is a pipeline? So a pipeline is a quick way to run a transformer model for a specific task, like how we looked at the sentiment analysis, for example. So we can run tasks like translation or summarization, or like I said, sentiment analysis, and it bundles all the pieces that you need, such as things known as a tokenizer, the model, the input and the output, all into one simple tool. And there should be an example code here. I don't know why it's in a white text, but that is simply an example of code for a translation model via a pipeline from English to French. Okay. So again, here's some popular pipelines which we can use depending on the task. And so we have this fill mask pipeline, which is a very cool one. So we have the sentence here. The capital of France is, and so we're going to use our fill pipeline or fill mask pipeline to basically fill in the word, for example. Okay, so in this case, the model will fill in the blank and it will determine that the correct answer should be Paris. The capital of France is Paris, based on its knowledge. Okay. So how do transformers work exactly? How do they read the text? Okay. So transformers don't read words. They read what's known as tokens. Tokens are essentially numbers that represent pieces of text, okay, similar to encoding, and so we're going to get into that in a moment. So for example, hello, nice to meet you might be turned into 16 tokens, and so this process is known as what is called tokenization. Okay, and so in order to perform this process of tokenization, we have what is known as a tokenizer. The tokenizer is what prepares your sentence for the model. It splits text into manageable pieces and assigns each a number. So each of these pieces or these chunks of text is assigned a number, and this is how your sentence becomes machine friendly. Okay, so just to reiterate, it turns text into a model readable format, converting human language to numbers. It handles the punctuation, so processes special characters appropriately. It splits the text into meaningful chunks, breaking down into subwords and characters, and it assigns a token ID, so it maps the text pieces to unique numbers. Alright, and so later on we're going to take a look at tokenizing some text. And so this is the essential fundamentals behind transformers and the transformer architecture. So we have, of course, what is known as an encoder. So this is what is going to understand the output and convert it into what the machine understands. So the encoder understands the input, processes and contextualizes the information, and creates rich representations of the text, whereas the decoder is doing the opposite, right? It's decoding and generating the output. So it creates new content based on the encoder's output, okay, to produce the final prediction or text. So the encoder deals with input, decoder deals with output. Okay, so not all models use both encoding and decoding. Some use only encoding, some use only decoding, for example, but the more advanced ones, they tend to use both, okay, like the most recent versions of ChatGPT, for example. Okay, so encoders are great at understanding, so they're perfect for tasks such as sentiment analysis or classification, and models like BERT use only encoders. Okay, so we'll take a look at some of these later. Decoders are made for generation, so writing new content based on a prompt, and models like the first GPT used to use only decoders to write everything from stories to code. So some models use both encoders and decoders to read and then generate an output, and these are ideal for tasks like translation and summarization. So you can think of them as read then write machines. Okay, so that pretty much sums it up on what transformers are, okay, and a little bit more in depth on how they work. So in the next lesson, we're going to be taking a look at working with some of these transformers and understanding the Hugging Face platform.